exist outside the six. Now we got gold hanging on the wrist. We've been lit since 96, always chasing a state of bliss.
I'm dressing all black clothes, rocking gold like I'm Bobby O, iced out on the ice, bro.
So we were going to call up our homie Slowburn, because he's interested in reviewing album cover art, which is something we don't always talk about.
Yeah, we try to talk about it on the end of the year stuff, but we kind of breeze through it a little bit, so we're going to talk about it a little bit more in depth here.
Hello?
Yo, Burn.
Yo, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
We're live on the Rapcast.
We can hear you on the... I can hear you through the speakers.
There we go.
Rapcast, let's go.
So, Slowburn, tell us about your idea to try to start reviewing album cover art.
Yeah, so the idea is under my 3-8 Create branding.
Follow it on Instagram below. Link below.
Yeah.
But the idea is to take a more in-depth look at the cover art for albums, and then also artwork included in the album eventually. And just kind of really diving into how it connects to the music and the visual themes portrayed, because, you know, it's your cover art. It's what the first thing somebody picks up when they see an album, right?
Yeah.
They see it, they pick it up, and this is what they're looking at, and they're going, hey, like, is this dope, or is this trash? Do I want to give this a listen, or do I kind of just pass on to the next thing?
I remember.
I think a lot of artists, you know, they put some effort into it, but I think there's a lot of room for improvement within the music industry.
I remember Madlib, actually, when he was making beats for Mad Villainy, a lot of the samples that he found were solely based on what the cover art was. Like, he went to Brazil and he was like, yo, this album art is fire. Let me see what's on it. And then that's how he found the samples.
Yeah. And I think especially in the modern day with streaming and stuff like that, when you're scrolling through, art does capture your eyes, and a lot of the times it's color, the use of color, and just stuff that grabs your attention.
It's a super underrated and important aspect of hip-hop and music
which
overall.
we don't always talk about, but we wanted to give a little bit of time.
It can really create context and visuals for the album, for the music, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it can really, like, point out some main themes, or just kind of give you an overall feeling for the album, and, like, kind of sets you up for it. And I think also, like, what you were saying with, like, when you pick it up and we go over it quickly, like, in the digital age, just on your phone and Spotify, sometimes it's such a small size, like, you don't really look at it too closely either. But yeah, I kind of got the idea from watching Anthony Fantano videos and listening to Dissect, and kind of putting my own spin on those kind of things. And so.
All right, so without further ado,
we understand you have a long list going.
Let's go through your honorable mentions for top album art. Just giving a little bit of a comment, and then maybe at the end do 5 or something, and we'll interject.
We are an hour 25 in the podcast, so just keep that in mind. We have other stuff to talk about afterwards, so just. But
this podcast will probably go 2 hours anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah. No pressure, bud.
So just honorable mentions for So I have a top 10, and then I can give 5 honorable mentions. So the first one, I'm gonna go with Kanye West, Donda 2. I think that album cover is crazy.
It is a dope visual for sure, and it makes sense with the live shows that he was doing and stuff, and thematically it fits.
Yeah, and I think just like as an image, it's like the house floating, it's on fire. I think visually, like the smoke, usually it's gray and dark, but it doesn't get lost in the black background. One of the reasons it's on the honorable mention and it's not a 10 out of 10 was I thought just like it's a picky thing, and it's probably just from a photo, but the way like the flames, the shape of them kind of, you'll feels slightly awkward.
Okay.
But other than that, I love it, and just the whole themes that it sets up, amazing.
All right, next.
Nego, I know Nego. I don't know, I just think it's fun.
Fair take.
The dog there with the ducks, kind of Nego with his friends, and they're on, like, he's on a flying carpet. I like it. The colors are light and they work. The dog doesn't get lost in the clouds on the cover art there, so I don't know. I just like it.
Acceptable.
Yeah, it's fun. It the attitude of the album overall
Makes sense. I didn't think too much about the cover actually, but now that you mention it, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Color wise,
kind
I
of
like it a lot.
cartoon style, but yeah, it's solid.
The next honorable mention is Denzel Curry, Melt My Eyes, See Your Future.
Yeah.
I agree with that one.
This
I
was
think it's
number 4 on my list of best.
It didn't make mine surprisingly enough. Love the album, but cover, yeah, it's cool, kind of glitch art. It does make sense for the album. I like the colors a lot as well.
yeah, I feel like I need to look at it with like 3D glasses.
Yeah.
And like it just gives an energy, like it's vibrating and it's like you're ready to go. One thing that I thought interesting was right at the center of the image, or just off center, is his ear is in focus. So I don't know if that means anything.
I need to catch that really.
Just thought that was cool.
It fits the aesthetic of the album, of the music as well. Like without saying too much, it just generally fits the feeling.
Yeah.
On to the next.
Conway, The Machine, and Big Ghost, What Has Been Blessed Cannot Be Cursed.
I don't know if I know that one.
It's very similar kind of styling to my number 1, but I don't know, I'm not super big on skulls and stuff, so that kind of just knocked it out of top 10 area, but
it's basically like a Grim Reaper type
I'm seeing
thing.
it now.
And he's kind of, I think was he doing like prayer hands or something, or
It's cool, like Halloween-y type
there's
cover.
like a bunch of chains, and like there's some swords, and the
Yeah.
use of color is really good, like
that is a nice color.
It's aesthetic.
And
Yeah.
the red and blacks, it all fits really nicely, and it's really well done. Didn't make my top 10.
Okay.
All right, so,
Are we at your top 10 now? Were those the honorable mentions?
I got one more
Okay.
Before we get into the top 10,
All right.
and it's West Side Gun's 10.
yes.
Right. Who's this guy? Some guy? It's just some guy?
I think it's just
What's
a
the story?
local Buffalo guy. He's wearing the big bright orange sweater. He's like on the corner store. I feel like they gave him the chains that Westside owns, and he's just thugging out. That's just kind of the whole vibe,
The
right?
orange really stands out.
Yeah, and these were just photos that just came out, and like.
Street photography vibes. Yeah, I get that.
And that is one theme with Griselda, that they do, the street, close to the streets kind of vibe, where I was just watching a West Side Gun video where there was just kind of like a local guy like dancing and doing his own kind of interpretation to a West Side Gun song. So they're always about like putting on the local, just random people.
Yeah.
Was that on your list, Alex, or no?
I really like Griselda.
No,
Type,
I didn't.
album
I did like
cover
it.
just in general. They really stay on theme,
Yeah.
and
You can always
on
tell it's a
brand.
Griselda record.
And
Yeah.
it helps tell the story too every time. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, great, cool.
All right, we'll get into top 10s. I have a top 5, so I'll start interjecting at 5, I guess.
I kind of want to hear. Okay.
But does Alex? Do you have a 10?
Top fives?
Yeah, I have a top 10, which I'll go through it like as we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just start off. My number 10 was Logic Vinyl Days. I liked.
Interesting.
I liked how the cover kind of was just like a photo from his studio, just with everything, like just how much he buries himself in the music, and it's just like a picture of his kid.
A lot of references.
His kid is sitting there, and there's a window, and it's a kind of the lights shining in. It's kind of about like looking towards the future, and this is the new headquarters for Logic, and this is kind of his new.
They're also
energy that he's on.
As a Logic fan, I can say there are a lot of references to albums that he's teasing, that he's been teasing. There's one that's coming out called The Ballad of Rooster Jenkins. Don't know what that means, but you can see that kind of, I don't know if it's on the kind of ODB carpet he has, but it's that there's text there. There's text also hidden in a poster of I think it's College Park, which is another album that people have been anticipating.
Right, yeah, so
it's
there's
cool
detail. I like the detail.
I did give that one like a pretty high rating too. I really like that it feels kind of like a warp tunnel and it's focusing on his son there.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it honestly, like, it doesn't feel like it's staged either. You know how sometimes when they do those photos where it's like trying to put everything and you can tell this does feel natural, like it does feel like it's a glimpse into his life, so I do like that. One
good show.
thing that I thought was kind of detracting, or was a minus, was the Marty McFly board really stood out.
I can see that, the pink.
Focused away.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I didn't notice that, but
Aesthetically, I can see that.
So what was your number 10?
So my number 10 was Brockhampton, The Family.
Oh, okay. That's my number 1 best album art of the entire year.
Wow.
Just because it's just so interesting to look at. Like, sure, the album, we have differing opinions on the album, but there's just so much, and there's a lot of references. There's like so many references you can pinpoint to their whole career and everything, and like the collage format is super cool. The colors are fantastic. Brockhampton's art direction has never missed, I don't think, even towards the very end. And it's just, to me, it's the most aesthetically pleasing one where I can look at it and I can find new things that I like about it every single time.
I wouldn't say Brockhampton has never missed, but I do love this one.
I guess the Iridescence cover with the pregnant lady it doesn't quite, maybe not the best thing to look at.
What was the point? No one really ever figured that one out, but
This one really reminded me, like, it made me think of Sgt. Pepper's, just with the level of detail and the just wild array of color.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely something to look at.
There's no real focal point in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the use of color is fantastic. Like, just balanced throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Your eye just wanders looking at all the details and kind of trying to interpret them, and I love it.
My favorite part of it is the llama that was used in one of their old videos. I remember that llama showing up, but it was just a fun
super
little
specific,
reference.
Did that make your list or no?
I wrote it down, but it didn't end up in my top 10 just because it's too busy. I just didn't.
I guess you could take. I mean, it depends on
part of what goes into it for me is if it's a simple enough idea that just scrolling past I can look at it and interpret exactly what it means. I think it rated a little bit higher.
I think that goes towards like the digital aspect of
totally. Because I'm just scrolling past on my Spotify, and unless it really has a specific color or something like that really captures my eye, it doesn't. It just kind of fades into my background. But it was still high quality art for sure. Let's do my number 9. It was Nigo. I know Nigo. So I think we're in agreements on that one. What was yours?
My number 9 is Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale, and the Big Steppers.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, that was number 5.
Okay. Didn't make my list. It would have, if I had a 10, I would do it, but I stuck to 5.
So what's your reasoning there?
This one kind of like my top 10. I basically all gave 10 out of 10s and just ranked on personal preference. I really like the way the symbols are portrayed here. Like, it's pretty obvious. Like, this guy is Kendrick is the savior, protector. He's got the gun in his pants. He's got the crown of thorns. He's holding his child.
Mm-hmm.
His partner is in the bed, nursing or holding the other child. And
there were gunshots, gunshot holes in the wall that are patched over.
I thought the little drywall.
That was a nice touch.
Like, just to show that the violence and the family issues that are kind of at the core of the album.
I think if you're this album art is like probably the most like it has to do the most with the actual content of the album to me. I think.
I would agree with that. Like, I just love how it forces you to ask questions that are, become part of themes for the album too. Like, when I look at it, I'm looking at the patches on the walls. Are those bullet hole patches, or are they holes from shelving? I don't know. Is it a hotel room? Is it their home?
Is it a trap house? Yeah.
What's going on here? There's just so many questions that I begin asking, and I just love the general composition too, where you look at first at Kendrick, and then you're looking at his, I think it's a son, and presumably a daughter, I'm not sure. And then you follow through and you start looking at the mother and then her nursing. And then you start looking at the room. It really guides you and it forces you to confront questions and themes that are going to be presented. And I had one question though. Is that blood on the pillows? Or what's going on there?
We have to get up and we got the vinyl sitting here. Blood on the pillows. I guess it is a little bit darker towards
Perhaps that is.
It might just be the shadows to me, but maybe that could be a subtle implication.
I mean, the We Cry Together song,
not surprising.
It was... it's a heavy album with heavy themes, so the idea that there might be blood spilled somewhere on the cover definitely...
Makes sense.
Would make sense, but we'll have to interpret that. But anyway, we should move on, because we've been basically sucking Kendrick's dick for the past... but anyway, my number 8, and this one I know will be an argument between you and me eventually, but I'm just going to make my point for it, is Pusha T, It's Almost Dry.
Okay.
I know you don't really like the art from it, but here's my argument, is that looking at it from afar, the big writing of the word dry almost kind of looks like a bunch of cooked up crack.
Yes.
And so it kind of gives you that sense of he's giving you the straight dope, but at the same time it has the look of sort of a modern art
luxury
style.
avant-garde shit, which is kind of plays into the themes he's talking about on the album. Luxury coke rap.
The themes of Pusha T that kind of bring it together, but I understand how it kind of might just look like complete nonsense.
I agree, kind of. Maybe the colors aren't that... I don't love the colors, the kind of browns and oranges, don't really do it. Kind of looks like shit almost, or I don't know. It's kind of color-wise, it could have maybe been a little better. But I'm probably leaning more towards Alex in this argument. But
anyway, I know it's on your worst list, so
it's my second worst album of the year.
Album cover art, by the way.
Album cover, sorry. It's a fantastic album.
Yes,
but the cover sucks. I'll give you that the color palette works. There's no real inconsistency or obvious glaring point, but just the font is hard to read. I think the letter D really disappears into the red side, and
it could look like an O maybe.
Almost illegible. It really knocks it out, and I think the Y really disappears into the grays. There's no real content. There was another one from, I think it was Did It Better.
Daytona.
I think
right?
it was no. I think it was from this year. I can't remember which one exactly. Rock Marciano and the Alchemist.
Oh yeah.
Bones.
That's my number 6. That's my number 6 favorite.
That's my number 5.
Yeah.
You guys like that one?
I do. It's busy, but it's I love the detail in the stuff we're seeing, and the fact that I don't know what any of it actually is kind of keeps my mind wandering a bit. And I think the colors work as well, and I think it's cool to look at.
There's a whole category of album cover art which is sort of modern art / painting stuff that is just lots of color splashed on a thing and not necessarily a lot of concept. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You should. Yeah. So what's your number 8?
So my number 8 is Future's I Never Liked You.
Interesting. I never really
liked
cared
that album
much for that. I don't know. It's kind of I don't know, the purples and the browns to me don't really go together. I like what he, I fuck with the whole idea of it, that he's sleeping in a limo, the luxury kind of aspect, but to me it doesn't make my worst list, but it never really stuck out to me.
What stuck out about it to you?
Well, I would disagree about the palette. I think the palette works really nice.
I like that purple suit. Yeah, I'll give you that.
The purple suit is sweet. The cream colors, I think they work really nice together.
All right, hang on.
It's kind of got this like
No, I'm fucking around.
dust feel, rich flex, like the eye thing matching his suit. He's got this little ascot going on.
I like the details a lot.
Thing.
Yeah.
It's a flex, and like such a I don't give a shit about you, and it really fits the album title. Just like, I'm gonna ignore you, get out of my life.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Conceptually, yeah, it is definitely strong, but it's hard to. Is it just a random picture of Future, or is it I
feel like I'm probably staged. I don't know.
No, I just mean it gives you that impression a little bit.
The body positioning that doesn't feel 100% natural.
Yeah.
But other than that, 10 out of 10 to me.
Interesting. And that album, honestly, when you re-listen to it, it does have a lot. I would say it's better than anything Drake put out this year. But that's not saying that much. But I do kind of like. It's an underrated project.
What was your number? Was that his number 8?
Yeah. My number 7 was JID Forever Story.
That one was my number 6 if I were to have one. I think it matches it's saying a whole lot in terms of it builds on a lot of the themes of what he's talking about. There's people in prison jumpsuits or whatever, talks about kind of incarceration on this album. There's a whole, I don't know, I think it just adds a lot to the album, and
there's a lot of detail, a lot of different characters but it's a little bit from afar. It just kind of looks like nothing, but when you start to really look in, there's a lot going on.
I did rate that one pretty highly. I tried not to go too much into researching albums or anything, but I know this one is kind of a continuation of the album cover, The Never Story. Yeah,
it's like a live action version kind of, where the Never Story was all orange and black, which is another cover that I really do enjoy, but it's almost like it's coming to life almost, which kind of also reflects the difference between the Never Story and the Forever Story.
Yeah.
I really like all the different themes that come through, like the red and blue of America, the guns, police.
Yeah, the gang violence.
Sex. All of this surrounding JID.
Yeah, and he's sitting there almost looking like he's just taking it all in, and he's observing it, and he's then he's writing about it, and he's kind of giving it to you on this album.
I just felt this one was a little bit dark, and then the red and blue guy in the shirt there, I think he's being confronted by the police. That part felt more like the focal point than JID at the center. So
maybe could have done a better job at bringing the eye towards JID, but
I think it takes the focus away from him.
Okay, so what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Rico Nasty Las Ruinas.
Okay.
I really like the art off that one too. And I kind of like when I looked at it from afar, it almost looked like she was throwing something at the camera or something. But really she's just it's just sort of an action shot. There's a lot of attitude that's in the photo itself.
Again, it makes sense in terms of the context of the album, the black punk whole kind of idea that she's talking about.
Yeah, but what was your angle on it?
I wasn't what you said about attitude. I think really captures a lot of what I felt about it, because do you guys remember the Candy Drip from Lucky Day?
Yeah, of course.
Album? That one to me, this is a better version of that to me, where it's it's got that sexual attitude, but
you're talking about the Lucky Day
in your face, and I have to show you my tits and wear my ass to get my point across.
Yeah, true. It's kind of all in her face, or an expression,
Yeah, it's also kind of punk. It draws your attention to her face.
But also, I like how the black, kind of menacing, demon-looking hands are kind of covering her face, and you can kind of see her eyes in between the fingers and stuff.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that. It's total agreement over here.
All right. So my number 6 was Rock Marciano, The Elephant Man's Bones.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about it, but yeah, just I didn't see any other album covers that really used color in that way, and that's part of why it was unique and special to me. And I also kind of like the little writing at the top where,
yes,
and the
I'm
little,
so glad you mentioned that.
The
I
little,
love that part of it.
Yeah,
just the branding of Alchemist is
because if it was all fucking the junk that we're seeing on the thing, it wouldn't have hit as much. But the fact that there's the black background and then the text on it it brings it home. That's my number 5. Yeah, I love the detail in it.
I really like that. It really felt like an old school record where it's like, oh, you got the actual title and artist just in a little separate bar.
Okay, so what's your next one?
So my next one, my number 6 is Currency and the Alchemist Continuance.
That one,
It's kind of like a cityscape, but like it repeats, but it doesn't really. And all you see is like apartment buildings in this head-on.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it now.
Yeah,
that's dope.
I see what you're saying conceptually. Continuance, the idea that it's an album I only listened to like once or twice, but so I can't really speak much to the.
Yeah, honestly, like
musical.
I haven't listened to it at all, but I also like that there's 5 joints hidden.
Yeah, I like the joints there.
Sight.
I like the text also kind of like hidden in graffiti on the albums there. That's a cool touch.
I didn't notice that, so yeah, that's cool.
To me, it says like this is the concrete jungle.
Oh right.
Continuance is like this. Maybe the album's about repeating behaviors and patterns or something. I'm not totally sure. I like it. It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Okay, so what was your next one?
My number 5 was Dreamville D-Day.
Yeah, that one's an old school rap cover with the guy with just like with the graphics and everything, and like it reminds you of the old classic mixtapes. I'm in agreement there. That one's a good one.
It felt kind of like Band of Brothers or something like that, with them and all like the war elements, and then tying into the D-Day title as well.
Yeah, I honestly a bit of a disagreement on that one. Like I just felt like that one was kind of cheap looking, like a fan made, like,
I think that to me that was kind of the point, because it's trying to mimic like the old kind of shitty mixtape covers back in the day.
Like the way that they're all kind of photoshopped into this lineup at the bottom, like the way that movie posters with like the 4 main guys' faces, like
could have been better, I guess, but I
don't know. That to me just like it sells the mixtape element. It really feels like, hey, this is just us coming for you, showing us what we got, guns ablazing. Here's our group. Here's our band of brothers. We're in your face. Deal with it.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that, but I just felt it was like a kind of cheap, and I don't know, but I respect that take anyway. Just to clarify what my list, my number 5 was Kendrick Lamar. My number 4 was Denzel Curry. Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. Did you take a chance to see the Fouché softcore cover? That was my number 3.
That was my number 2.
Interesting.
Love it.
I think I did.
It's like a angelic photo. Like
I love it just as a photograph itself. Even if it wasn't an album cover, I'd be like, this is sick. She's floating over top of the water. She's going towards the moon. You only see the back of her. It's super mysterious. She's in like a swamp and shit, which is an interesting aspect.
It's kind of scary in a way.
Yeah, which kind of fits the themes of the album, where it's like kind of angelic and beautiful, but also kind of haunting and
I like that little moon in the corner.
Yeah.
It brings a nice balance to it visually, but it still has the focus is on Fouché.
This is another one I rated pretty highly. Like I think it has nice composition, and the central figure is obvious, and like you said, it's kind of like ghostly. Like, is she floating up to heaven, or is she like?
Did she die?
Yeah, she's being possessed.
Water?
Yeah,
I don't know. Just something about the way like they've made her glow seems off to me. Like,
yeah, it's probably an obvious Photoshop of just like turning up the hazing aspect, but I don't mind it to me personally. But
that was the like. Other than that, it was kind of like this is a really cool artistic choice, and I dig it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so what's the next one on your list? I have 2 left.
Me too.
So we'll keep moving here.
Nicholas Craven and Boldy James, Fair Exchange, No Robbery.
That was my number 2.
Nice.
Really good.
I have to look at it.
I really like this one. I want to say it's like a French Canadian art style.
Oh yeah, this one's dope.
Yeah, it looks like an old milk carton.
Well, it's the very obvious play on the maple syrup cans that you can get, like the actual tin cans. Like it's almost the exact same thing, just in place, but instead there's lean.
And I believe Nicholas Craven is from like Montreal or something.
That's cool.
Okay.
So that's where that kind of
Canadian very cool painting style. I love that kind of nostalgic almost style to it.
Yeah, I really like that the lean element is being poured out instead of maple syrup.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it works for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and there's a kind of a wintry vibe to the music as well that like matches the aesthetic perfectly. Kind of nostalgic,
like
old school.
Have you done your number one?
The chance to really like listen to in depth to connect to the art. So a lot of it is just my first initial visual impression. I'm kind of looking at some generic artistic elements. I think this one's really cool.
And the actually on the back end they listed the track list is listed like the ingredients of on the back of a thing. So another cool little element there. So let's keep moving here. What's your next one?
My number 3 is Joji Smithereens.
Interesting.
This was
this would have been probably my bottom 10. Like I like the colors and stuff, but it's just not. What is it trying to say? You know, like I don't know. Well, Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I had the similar thing where I'm like, what's the point? There's nothing going on. It's just
it's a cool gradient, but
whatever,
I don't know if the music quite matches. I'm not sure. What's the reasoning?
So this to me just feels like it's a blank empty space filled with a color transition. It does help that like blue and green are some of my favorite colors.
Okay.
But it really feels like mellow and intimate, and the texture of the transition feels soft. Mm-hmm. So it feels like somewhere you're just getting lost, you're relaxed, you're just there to enjoy it. I don't know. That was my impression.
Yeah, I understand the moodiness of it kind of fits part of the music. Like,
colors.
Yeah.
Almost feels kind of like the Aurora Borealis a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
That was mine.
That's another thing when we talk about the digital aspect of it. Scrolling past, you see that square with that color, and it does kind of draw your eyes towards it. The lack of what's going on is almost an appeal in its own sense.
You guys remember Baby Keem had a number of singles where it was like a
very similar
bar kind of thing?
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but
kind of reminds me of this. He released a bunch of singles where I think from Melodic Blue.
Yeah. It's all just like various tones of like the same color and kind of going through. Yeah.
Arranged in transition.
Yeah, I thought those were interesting.
All right, fair. Let's get Andrew's other one out of the way.
I got my number 4 and 3 still. My number 4 is Gemini Rights by Steve Lacy.
Okay, that was my number 1.
Yeah. I love the colors. The blue and the red really go well. I love the kind of like almost paper. That's like paper cut. It's kind of cut through like the transition between the two sides. I love the horn kind of aspect. How the arrows act as horns in a way as well. I just think it's super aesthetic. Matches the themes really well. Love the colors. Very, very well done job, I think, overall.
Yeah, I agree. And the whole concept of like the bipolarness or the two sides to Steve with the little devil horns, and just like the color really popped to me. And that was another scrolling past, just seeing the one picture of his face. You know, you have a lot of questions, and it doesn't necessarily overdo it with the conceptually or anything.
Yeah. It's simple, but it works really well. And I like, at least on Apple Music, it has like the little animation where like it spins, like the arrows like spin in a way. I thought that was another really cool aspect.
Yeah. It definitely made my top 20, but it felt like the redness of his face was a little like harsh.
Yeah, maybe a little bit off-putting. I can see that.
Or something, but other than that, like I'm in agreement with what you guys are saying. Like it was really cool, the whole layering of it, the arrows and the horns, and
Yeah,
like,
cool artistic direction, and a cool idea executed well, in my opinion. Alex, is your list now done?
My list is finished with.
Okay, I have my number 3 as my last one. Brad, how many do you have left? 3?
I got 2. I got number 2 and number 1.
All right,
Okay.
we'll give you your number 2 then.
All right, number 2 is Kenny Beats Louie.
Yes,
Oh yeah, okay.
I like that one a lot.
I really like this one. I really like that the title font feels like the brush strokes of the main image, so it
Yeah.
really fits. And
It looks like a.
kind of feels like an impressionist painting a little bit.
For sure.
I was just about to say it feels like a Monet painting, honestly.
Yeah, I really like the color palette. I like that there's a lot to kind of like vaguely look at. Like, I think there's a couple versions of Kenny Beats in there. Like, there might be a child version beside an adult version of him on the bench. I'm not sure.
Well, it's dedicated to his father, the whole album, so I feel like that it's kind of a tribute to him.
Okay, so maybe like young Kenny sitting beside his
Yeah,
father.
that's what I grab as well. Yeah, I love the painting style for sure.
I do like the way the painting is framed around the white background. It's aesthetically, it does,
Yeah.
it organizes the space pretty well. So Andrew, why don't we get you?
I can go my number 3, finish off my list. Late to the year, but I'm going with SOS by SZA. Super simple, but I love the minimalist vibes of it, of just the ocean, and then her on a huge diving board. I like the fact that she's in a St. Louis Blues jersey. I like that touch as a hockey fan. And it really kind of showcases how alone she feels, which very much has to do with the music on the album.
I was watching a video that talked about it. Apparently, it was directly inspired by a photo of
Princess Diana.
I think of Princess Diana.
Yeah.
And how alone she felt in the royal family.
And I also love how raw it feels because they actually went out on a boat in the middle of the ocean and actually shot that photo. Like, it's not photoshopped whatsoever. Like, it's a legit image, which I, of course, as a photographer, I love that fact.
Yeah.
I think, again, matches the music really well. Love the minimalist vibes to it.
This is another one I had in my top 20, and same thing, like, she feels small and isolated.
Yeah.
I think the color tones are balanced, and
Yeah.
she's still, like, the main focus.
Yeah, very technically good photo. Sharpness is great.
Yeah.
Everything's in focus.
Another thing I like about it is, like, that scary, intimidating element. But
Yeah.
she's almost relaxed.
Yeah.
So it also conveys a confidence. And,
Yeah.
like...
How close to the edge she is. Like, she's kind of almost going crazy, but also she's, like, happy with where she is. It's a great balance, which also reflects in the music that we hear.
It does feel kind of reminiscent of the Baby Keem melodic
Yes, a lot of people.
cover,
A lot of people were making that connection.
but
I think it's done better.
yeah, I think it's probably even stronger
I
than.
think so.
I never was too fond of the Baby Keem cover in terms of like the rainbow dock. I just never really understood what that had to do with the album. But might just be me.
That's a big reason I did not like. I like the melodic blue cover, but that rainbow dock, like, same thing. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so your
the
number.
feeling of confidence that she shows is like, that's kind of the same thing. Like, I like about the Kenny Beats one, where like you have a feeling that's conveyed and it kind of makes you want to explore it more.
Exactly.
Right? Like, this Louis one, it feels like a happy, hazy memory where you're like, oh, I'm just going to, relax into this.
Yeah.
And then SOS, kind of same thing, right? So,
Yeah.
or not same thing, but different emotion,
Yeah.
but the same pulling you in effect.
Okay, so going along pretty good here. Let's get your number one. If you want to go on a little rant on why you chose this one.
So my number one, and when I do a proper deep dive, I think this is going to be the first one I break it down. It's a 38 special, 7 shots. I think this is a fantastic album cover that combines like almost a minimalist approach, but also this like detailed drawn skull revolver. So it's got a really like badass element. I really like the color balance.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, I'm not crazy about that shade of green. That's probably why I didn't like it.
It's just a bias, I suppose.
But I get what you're saying. You know, it's the 38 special gun.
Yeah,
which is
really well drawn.
He's coming at you like he's facing these shots, sure, but he's still shooting back at you. Like the one second top bullet that would be coming towards him
could also be
return fire.
Yeah, I love the placements of the bullets. Super simple but really effective.
Yeah, so
how some of them are behind him, some of them are in front of him.
Makes me feel away. Plus, 3.8 create 38 special. It just fits.
Yeah, 38 is sort of a number that's important to you, so part of why.
Yeah. But just artistically, like I think it's a really balanced cover. It's got a lot of good artistic elements, good color, good use of contrast, and
Alex, can I ask, do you enjoy the Weezer album, the Green Album? Because it's the same shade of green.
No, I'm the Blue Album.
Okay,
that's the only
that's fair.
good Weezer album.
Pinkerton is dope as well, I'll say. But
okay, so while we have you on the phone, we're just gonna quickly run through some bad art. And
so, how many do each of us have? I have 5. Alex, how many do you have?
I have 6.
Okay, Brad.
Okay. I think you guys should go first. I can just give a list without really getting into it too much.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we've been talking to you for 45 minutes now, so but we'll let you go to bed soon. But we just want to quickly get some hate off, understand what you see as bad art.
Okay.
So my number 6 was the game Drillmatic. Just really stupid, low effort. Like they put these cheap flames on afterwards on the couch that he's sitting next.
That's my number 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
he's sitting on a beach and there's this couch and these flames. They look stupid and he has this expression
why are the flames? Why is the couch on fire at the beach? Like there's water around. Put it out.
I know. Like, what are you, stupid?
Oh, I also don't like how the horizon line is crooked. That's such an easy fucking fix, guys. Where you sit, like the very end of the ocean there, like it's you can tell it's like a little bit crooked.
Yeah.
Which, as a photographer, that bugs me.
Also, just the whole thing, the colors don't work very well. I feel like his socks take more attention than
the bright white
space. The couch colors don't fit at all.
Yeah.
It's
ugly.
I agree.
It's ugly.
It's ugly.
I can go with my number 5, from a bird's eye view, Corday. I just really dislike the colors here. I don't know. And the painting vibe is okay, but also it's just fucking
composition.
Yeah, composition wise, I don't love it. The fucking weird alien kind of people that are looking, doesn't have to do with the album at all. I dislike the browns and greens. I think they work not very well together. Don't fuck with it.
The lack of personality.
Yeah.
That's really it. I find it fits, from a bird's eye view, it fits the title, I guess, looking on yourself.
And there's some birds in it.
So I guess it fits, but it's not compelling at all.
Yeah, I agree.
And, I just find the color palette is, I'm not invited into this at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 5 was Drake, Her Loss.
That is my number 1.
Okay.
That was my number 6.
Yeah.
We all hated it.
Yeah. It's just, it's just not good to look at. It's just one that I'm I just care to not look at it.
It makes me not want to listen to the album.
Yeah. And I'm sure I've said this in the original review, I'm sure she's a pretty woman, but it's not a good picture. The flash is harsh. It's too bright of an image. And it's just not appealing at all.
Yeah. I gave it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think the purple and the skin color works, I guess, in the hair.
Yeah, and the coloring I don't mind, but it's everything else about it.
It might work from a pure, fundamental composition stance where you center the face.
Sure, yeah, but that's also basic. Centering an image. Yeah, anyone can do that.
Well, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, come on,
somebody in grade 2 and they'll do it.
Yeah,
it's not hard.
Yeah.
So it's pretty trash.
Yeah.
So do you want to get off another bad one, or?
I'll just kind of run through quickly 3 honorable mentions.
Okay.
My 10th worst was Earl Sweatshirt Sick.
Interesting.
This is the only one I really want your opinions on because I know you guys love this album or like it. At the
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like color wise, like I don't know, maybe I'm just not like a brown guy, but like it's not the most aesthetically pleasing. But I think in terms of the content of the album, it makes a whole lot of sense with all these kind of remedies, the kind of incense he got there, and the pills and stuff, and his kind of the mold of his face. I think compositionally, I think it works as well.
Yeah, I liked it. I think there's meaning.
Element. Like, I understand the elements and the symbolism, but like I think the shapes are awkward next to everything. Like, he has this garlic clove on the right, which is like a round shape, and then there's so many square, straight edges, and these tiny pills at the top with little round edges. Like, I feel like a lot of the lines contradict each other, and the colors don't work that nicely.
Yeah, it didn't blow me away, but
Yeah.
I didn't dislike
I like
it.
the kind of rough placement of the pills at the top, like the two kind of like it's almost out of the way. I also, I mean, with the lines, like I kind of disagreed in terms of just like the table is all going like up and down, like the lines of the table match with the lines of the frame, which also match with the lines of the photographs.
I guess it does have all those like coffee mug stain kind of things that contrast that, and there's a lot of other like.
Yeah, I do agree that the garlic clove on the side is a little bit distracting, for sure.
So.
All right.
Like definitely the symbolism saved it, but the other two I had there were MGK Mainstream Sellout.
That's my number 4 worst.
Was garbage.
Just poor Photoshop, color. Like the pink is too much.
Not a good photo of him. Like his expression looks stupid.
Like, fucking mouth breather. Like, what did Brad say?
The pink is a shtick.
Yeah.
It's unconvincing at best.
Yeah.
Yeah, he overdid it with the pink.
Yeah.
He shouldn't.
And the messaging of like, look at me, I suck, everybody hates me. Like, yeah, if you're gonna sell us as everybody hates you, like, yeah,
it's
we're
working.
gonna hate you. What do you expect?
Yeah.
It's actually successful in that weird way.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, back cover.
So, what you want to get off your another honorable? Or?
Yeah, I'm gonna run through a bunch real quick.
Okay.
Like, then number 8 was DJ Khaled. God did.
That's my number 2 worst.
I mean,
Me too. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
It looks like bad touch up. The photo's been touched up.
He's got testicles on his chin.
Yeah, he has balls on his chin. It's a big problem.
I just love what they did with the Photoshop. I don't know, Brad, if you saw it, of like where there's a teardrop coming down from his eyes, and someone was playing into it like it's a fucking cum drop, and there was like a big shadow of a penis over his face. I almost would have preferred that cover.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like.
Yeah, I think it's terrible. Like, what's he looking at? Like
the whole like, oh, God did. He's looking up to God, but you're still the focus of this. That's contradictory.
Yeah, and
exactly.
His face, there's too much of his face. Like, it takes up the entire fucking frame. The fucking gold text is tacky as fuck.
I remember.
And the fonts are different.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the green is nice. I guess the colors are
okay, sure, but like, I don't know. Yeah.
I remember seeing the
don't care to see it.
Seeing that cover on.
Did not care to listen to it either because it was so bad.
On Sunrise Records, like, and it's just like, ugh, just like immediately, just like off.
Yeah, and
bad taste in your mouth.
The thing about what you said about he's looking up to God, but really he's still the focus of the thing.
Yeah.
It conceptually bad in the way that his whole kind of prosperity doctrine, modern Christianity. But it's all just about making money.
It's all about himself at the same time as well.
It's
self-centered. He has to rap. He has to fucking scream every fucking all the time.
It's perfectly conceptually bad in many different ways. Let's do a bit more of my list.
Because I only have one left. My number 3.
My number 4 was Drake. Honestly, never mind. Was that on your list?
Yes.
Low effort, just like writing that you would see in on a trendy T-shirt.
It's been done to death. That fucking like kind of
my number 4.
Yeah, that kind of gothic kind of style writing has been done to death ever since XXXTentacion. Like it's been done over and over and over again. I'm sick of looking at it. It would be my honorable mentions.
Airbrush artist, like this is the worst airbrushing I've ever seen. Inconsistent lines, blotchy.
Yeah.
The shadow effect gets lost, so it's illegible. Like.
Yeah.
it's garbage.
I agree.
I hope you're legible, by the way.
I love this side of Brad.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, can you tilt it a little bit?
Like, get the phone. Get the phone. Like, get the
there
actual thing.
There we go.
Okay,
There we
okay.
go. Perfect.
Sorry. So keep going with your list here.
Yeah, no, I interrupted, I think. But I definitely had that one on my list, too, at number 4. I think, honestly, Nevermind from Drake is terrible.
Yeah.
Yes, we did plenty of painting earlier on it. So are you at your number? Have you said your number 5 yet? Or you can keep going with your list wherever you left off.
I have my number 7 yet, and then number 3 and number 1.
All right. What's your number 7?
My number 7 is Oz, Bump, or Pick Me Up.
Oh yeah, Boz, like the orange and the
Yeah.
Let me refamiliarize myself.
Yeah, but that one, it was like, I wasn't even sure if it was... I wasn't sure if it was like an actual cover or if it was just a random like photo. Like it's just like looks like crap. Like why? I don't understand.
You don't need both. If you want to make the bump actually like the kind of like the warning kind of yield sign stand out, don't have the background the exact same color as the fucking sign.
Right.
Like,
or like do the or Pick Me Up on an actual bump sign in the wild. And, like, then take a picture of it.
Yeah, that would be much better.
Way. Like,
yeah.
This just looks amateur.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Alex, you want to get some off? Or where are you in your list?
I have one more... I have 2 more to mention, but I'm sure this is on your list as well, because I've seen it. But Royce da 5'9" put out a random project this year called The Heaven Experience.
Oh, yeah, and it's like super just like old school in like the worst way possible.
It's like he's standing there, the world is around him. It's like a crappy like video game like fan-made art. It's like a bad animation kind of style.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Oh yeah, that's
it looks like
that's
somebody first tried. You know, they're starting to get good with Microsoft Paint.
Yeah.
It looks like something that an 11-year-old would buy for their homework book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sick burn.
Yeah.
Buy for an 11-year-old's homework book.
Yeah, that's fire. All right, I have 1 left. Alex, you have 1 left. Brad, how many do you have left?
I have my number 3 left. Royce da 5'9" was my worst album.
Worst one.
Cover
That's
of the
fair.
year.
Okay, I have my number 3 as well. I'll get mine off. 12 Karat Toothache, Post Malone. Just what was he trying to do with this? It doesn't have to do with the title at all. If the album's called 12 Karat Toothache, do some shit with his grills or whatever, like bloody golden grills, something. But it's a butterfly with like I presume is a knife in the background, but it's unclear if it's a knife. What does a butterfly have to do with it?
So fucking stupid.
Lighting is bad. The Photoshop job is bad. It doesn't have to do with the album at all.
I like this one.
Yeah.
I rated it pretty high, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think it's a knife in the background. I think that's just like a sliver of light in a dark room. And then I think the butterfly is supposed to be like that transformation motif. And I think the light actually catches the butterfly appropriately.
But to me, it has nothing to do with the album, and it could have been a lot better. And
I guess
unmemorable to me.
More than I have then, because like I just looked at it as like, oh, this is actually a kind of pretty picture. You know, like I can interpret it what I see, and then
I just don't like any of my interpretations of it.
Oh,
it's all bad to me. I don't know. That's just me.
I'll agree it doesn't match the title.
Yeah, or the content of... There's nothing about transformation here. He's doing the exact same thing on this album that he's always done. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, fair enough.
All right, so your number... Alex, what do you got here?
My number 1 was just Jack Harlow, Come Home the Kids Miss You.
I don't hate it. I mean, it's simple, but like it's whatever.
I'm going to disagree with.
I just think it's stupid. What's the point? It's just him... He has a dumb expression on his face.
It is lazy, for sure. A lazy album. Lazy
like,
album.
What's the theme? Oh, he's a rapper. He does music. Like,
yeah.
Other than that, like, what do you really...
I don't mind the kind of he's all dressed in black or whatever. The background is like off-white, cream color. I don't mind the colors. Composition-wise, it works. But yeah, I kind of agree just in terms of his laziness.
Lack of an idea.
I wrote, nice image, good contrast and balance, light on interest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of light on interest, look, we're a little bit tired, and we're gonna let you go. But you have anything else you want to say?
Well, you have your number 3 left, right?
Oh, my last one was Danger Mouse and Black Thoughts cheat codes.
Okay,
I thought it was just a weird one. I didn't understand it.
Yeah, doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Green and red bullseyes on a. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah, that's about it for me. Yeah, that's the Slowburn ranking. 3.838.
We'll have we'll link that in the description below.
I'm just on Instagram right now. You'll find out about the YouTube stuff through there.
Doing art and all kinds of cool stuff
on SoundCloud.
I'm taking another piece. I'm taking this opportunity.
All right.
That's it. Thanks for having me, boys.
Peace
It's
out.
been great.
Peace out, bro.
You take it easy.
Life be easy breezy, blowing pot O's. New asphalt road, no potholes. I be up your front seat.